Friday night in Detroit, and Parks Memorial Stadium sets the stage for the finale of a four-game Friday slate. The 4-3 Albuquerque Adams arrive looking to split the week wide open, and if they collide just right, they could set off an explosive reaction. But the 4-4 Detroit Maulers, fierce as a lynx on the prowl, are ready to defend their home turf and claw their way back above 500. Ladies and gentlemen, Parks Memorial Stadium is the setting here tonight for this Friday matchup. I am Brett Solberg alongside, you know him, he's true, it's Wade Phillips, alongside with Zach Holdorf, the Secretary of Corn, and don't call her Ellie, it's Michaela Foraker over in stats as well. Wade, this is a big game between two teams in the middle of the hunt. What's going to be the focus for these two teams?
Absolutely, it's going to be controlling turnovers for both these squads. Albuquerque comes into the game first in the league with only 6 turnovers all season, whereas Detroit, bottom of the league with 19.
Yeah, and it's going to be big to see how Ethan Flowers kind of fixes that turnover bug. He's got 15 of those turnovers through interceptions this season. Albuquerque's going to start this ball off, and away we go here in Parks Memorial here in Detroit, Michigan. And that kickoff is going to sail way past the end zone. It's going to be an automatic touchback, and we're going to see Cyrus, Jive, and company lead off. Wade, Cyrus has been super protective with that football, just 3 interceptions this season.
Absolutely. He's played fairly mistake-free, and we'll see if that continues tonight. Detroit's got some monsters on the defensive line.
They're going to go pair slot for this first play here on scrimmage. And it will be a pass. Jive looking to step back, throws down the middle and finds his target. He's got wide open space. K. Marion, the deadly receiver one of this team, starts the game off with 6 on the board. Blinking, you miss it. 12 seconds in.
12 seconds, touchdown. K. Marion came into this game second in the league in yardage for receiving yards. 661, add on quite a few more on that play. She takes it, breaks the tackle. It's a good catch, and then she just breaks tackle. It takes off. Speed beats everyone. Touchdown.
And what was interesting in that play is that she completely blew by King Rashid, who has been absolutely stellar for this Detroit secondary in an all-star caliber season so far. Just blew him away. 80 yards, first play, and we got fireworks in Detroit, but not for the Maulers. We're starting 7-0 for the Adams here. We're not even a minute old here, Wade.
Yeah, no, it's like you said, fireworks right out of the gate, and the Adams starting out with pedal to the metal, and now Maulers have to respond and stay mistake-free, try to get something going on this first drive.
Now the quick question is CJ Parrish or Rob Hunt going to respond? It's going to be Hunt on the return, sheds off a tackle past the 20, and will scramble his way to the 28-yard line. And now, instead of seeing Albuquerque's offense, they were done in one play, we're going to see over in Detroit, and we're going to talk about Ethan Flowers with that turnover bug. What's got to be the key for Flowers to keep that ball in Detroit's side?
Well, I think he has to stay safe and, target some, maybe even check downs, target your tight end, some of those easy completions that kind of get your momentum going and get you in a groove to where then you can throw it down the field and, play action comes in huge. The run game has to be effective, and they've got to lean on that play action.
Detroit prided in their run game, and they brought it back in their last game, trying to give Andrew Gibson a lot more touches, but they're going to start off with a pass on first down. Flowers off to throw to the left side, finds a target, and it's going to be Jimmy Wint with the reception. Gets a good 20 yards on that first play. First down for Detroit.
Good, solid press off the line for the defender, but Jimmy Wint's too strong. The former tight end in the minors just plays bully ball right there, catches it, first down. Great start for the Maulers. Yeah,
a good 25 yards to start things off, and Detroit's trying to respond in kind from that 80-yard bomb that Albuquerque gave, and starts off pretty quick. That'll be a quick toss over to the left side, and Joel Harleman will start things off on the run game with 5 yards.
Yeah, it's the weak toss right there. Harleman took it a few yards, picks up, a solid 5 yards right there. That's a nice way to start a series, and now going to see if they can continue it.
Yeah, it's going to be a strong eye jacks look for 2nd and 5. You've got your tight ends over on both sides trying to be a handoff. Gibson can't get through. And very quickly on this 3rd and 3 wait, I'm going to get through this Detroit Maulers offense. We've talked about Ethan Flowers, running back trio of Andrew Gibson, Joel Harmon, and fullback Terrell Sutherland. Wide receiver trio of Rob Hunt, Jimmy Winton, CJ Parrish. Tight end duo of Goradul Khan and Robert Henson Jr. Offensive line of Portia Henson, Hadrian Marlowe, Jimmy Hayes, and Jack Big Boss. It's going to be a rollout for Flowers and finds his tight end. That's going to be Khan with the reception. Wade, just like you said, getting the tight ends involved.
Absolutely, he's got to, because that's going to build that momentum. He's going to complete these passes where that confidence is going to grow, and then you mix in a little bit of run and effective runs, and then that play action is going to bust this wide open.
Just 13 receptions for 111 yards between Khan and Henson Jr. through the first half of the first 8 games of the season for Detroit. Can they get them more involved in this game? First down, it's going to be a draw play for Flowers, and decides to run it up the gut for 4 yards. Very interesting play on that 1st and 10.
Now he's carried it 34 times this season for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he likes to run, but he's a little fumble prone, so I'd like to see him take care of the ball.
Has 2 fumbles, which leads the team this season. Is going to be a stretch play to Gibson, who has the capability of stretching out and shedding off tacklers and gets close to the first down marker. They're going to mark it short, 3rd and inches.
And up to this game, 6th in the league in rushing yardage. And Gibson is just an absolute workhorse back there and could break a lot of tackles and pick up big gains with the speed.
Now at carry 151 this season, which leads the league. Handoff, this time to Harleman, who stretches the opposite side, easily gets the first down and a couple yards more. And this is the Detroit style they like to do, that grind it out, drag them out offense.
Yes, they do. They're near if not the tops in the league, they are near the tops in rushing. And it goes with both the running backs and the fullback.
Flowers back to throw again and doesn't see anybody open quickly. Decides to slide it out for another 6 yards. Are we going to see that more often in this game if the quick looks aren't there?
I think maybe they saw something in their build-up to the game. They might have seen something that they can exploit with that quarterback sneak.
Detroit, one of 4 teams that averages over 22 minutes of possession time this season. 4th in the league, 22:07 is their average time possession. And you can see this drag-out handoff to Gibson again. Gets a couple extra yards, but can't get past the 2nd level of defense. It's going to set up a 3rd and 2 inside the 10.
Right here, I might hand it off to Terrell Sutherland right here, because the big bruising back that can break through and pick you up 2 yards. That's all you need.
56 carries, 241 yards, leads the team with average yards per carry at 4.3. This might not be a bad decision from Coach Wade Phillips, but instead they're going to go with Harleman, who tries to stretch it out, but can't get past Saeed Gore, and it's going to be 4th and 2.
Saeed Gore played great attack football right there. Filled the gap, got the tackle for no gain, and now it forces this field goal. So a great stand by the Albuquerque Adams defense. Mullich had a pretty good drive, just kind of sputtered out at the end.
Off the left hash mark goes Scylla Aldemir, and quickly through for her, which makes her now 15 of 16 this season. One of the more accurate kickers of the game this season, and gets Detroit on the board. Not the touchdown they wanted, but they got points. It's now 7-3 halfway through the first.
And you consider that a win. I mean, you get points on your first possession, which, any team will tell you, hey, if we could start out with points, hey, we're starting out on the right foot.
Detroit kicking it back to Albuquerque, deep in the end zone again, and there is no chance for Clarence Lee to get that return. They're going to easily take the touchback. And it was blink and you miss it from Albuquerque on their first drive. One play, 80 yards. Do they decide to slow things down, or they're going to keep with that big money play? It's going to be 2 receivers this time to the right, almost an opposite of what they did on that last drive. And it will be a handoff. This is going to go to Josh Slapp, the former headhunter, will get 5 yards, and I'll very quickly get to the Albuquerque offense. Cyrus Jive is the quarterback. You've got Josh Slapp, Jason Williams, and Justin Williams, and the running back slots. Wide receiver trio of Kyle Finnemore, Clarence Lee, and Kane Marion. Tight end, Jack Wall, and an offensive line consisting of Queen Porter, Jerrion Jones, and Leah Williams. Second down will be a handoff to Williams, who tries to get to the first down marker, but just can't get to it. 3rd and inches coming up for the Adams.
King Rashid right there made up for the broken tackle from that big touchdown to stop that play in its tracks and forces 3rd and inches. We'll see if maybe they lean on Slap one more time. He's a monster with 3rd best run average in the season.
Average of 33 rushing plays from Albuquerque this season. They go for a 3rd time, but can't quite get to it. Excellent work from Jubilee Marsh, the strong safety, to get him behind the line.
Detroit's defense stepped up right there, forces the 3 and out, and now gets their offense back on the field, and we'll see if they can, put 7 on the board.
That was the 2nd best tackles for loss group on defense you just saw from Detroit, getting their 77th tackle for loss as a collective unit. Punt returned to the 41-yard line and no further, and now this could be Detroit's time to pounce on this opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd like to see them lean on that run game some more. Open up the play I'm telling you, the play action is going to bust it open for them.
And they're going to go with a pro set, an ace pro set on 1st and 10. 2 tight ends on opposite sides, 2 wide receivers on opposite sides. But they're going to move Kahn over to the right to get maybe a little bit more space for Gibson on this impending run. But it won't be a run. It'll go Flowers on a quick drop, finds his target, and gets a nice crisp 7 yards. Robert Henson Jr. with the reception.
Dependable Robert Henson Jr. right there, and he does it again. The short pass, go to your tight end, your safety blanket. He's leaning on him, and right now they're looking pretty with the 2nd and 3.
Henson, their short route option guy, only averaging 5 yards per catch, but he gets those catches when needed. Handoff to Gibson, who sheds off a couple tacklers and jumps over his own offensive lineman to get the 1st down and a couple extra.
The thing with Gibson as well is he can receive the ball. It's 22 receptions up to this game, and so it'll be interesting to see if they kind of maybe get him some swing passes or some passes out in the flats.
Another stretch handoff, this time to Harleman. Gets stuck behind his old lineman, which leads to Bryant James and company with the joint tackle to get only a yard from that Detroit rush.
So far, Albuquerque has done well bottling it up. Not too much effectiveness on the runs. We'll see if it continues.
Back to ace pro on 2nd and 9. They're going to shift CJ Parrish to overload that left side. Albuquerque stuck in the 4-3 setup, looking for that shrug tackle, but can't get to him, and Flowers decides to bail and get in front, but it's a fumble, and it's recovered by the offense. Sean Parent playing double duty as well as playing defensive tackle. He's also the team center, right man at the right spot.
You said it, right man at the right spot, and that's the 3rd fumble for Flowers this season. Gotta tighten that up.
Yeah, and that's one of the fears that you have when you have a scrambling quarterback, is that Butterfinger's problem, as that rush from Gibson nets a negative 2-yard gain on the play. 2nd and 12 coming up.
Yeah, you said it. Those scrambles can be a wild card. It can bust open for a big play, or you can have some heartbreak with a fumble.
Going to set up with 3 receivers, but they're going to get that tight end, Henson, over to that left side, try to balance things out. Flowers back to throw on 2nd and 12, tries to go middle and does. A great look to Jimmy Wint once again, his 2nd of the quarter, nets him a 1st and 10.
They needed that. He was wide open. Well, not wide open, but just enough space to really catch that and make an attempt at a broken tackle. The tackle just whiffs right here. Going for the ball, but Jimmy Wint's a big guy and ran strong right there and picked up a few extra yards on the play.
Yeah, it seemed like Wint missed the assignment because everyone went on an in route. He decided to go on a slant instead. But it still works out for Detroit. 1st and 10. A toss play. Gibson shrugs off the first tackler and gets past the line of scrimmage, basically turning a nothing play into 3 productive yards on that 1st down play.
The key to those toss plays, for the most part, on 90% of them, you got to break that first tackle because they're going to be swarming to it, and right there he did, just couldn't pick up very many.
There we go, I Jacks. They're going to shift Sutherland over to the left side, making it a weak eye. And they will go the weak side for Harleman, but the defensive line stays tight, and Gore gets the tackle once again, 3rd and 6.
He's been just flying to the ball today. That's a 2nd that has been just right at the line, if not behind it. And so now this line has got to kind of come together and get some stops.
3 receivers out, and they're going to overload the left side for 3rd and 6 as they move Wint to the slot side. Flowers back to throw. He's got options. He's got time. He's got a look, but doesn't get to Henson early enough. He steps out of bounds despite the catch. 4th down coming up.
It was a good play call, just kind of lost awareness of that back of the end zone. You know, if he gets a little toe drag swag right there, we got a touchdown, but unfortunately lost the line that he needed to stick his toe in, and unfortunately incomplete.
And it was a perfect look as well from Flowers, as Henson had the slower William Patterson on him. He just needed to get that ball off sooner. And now Aldmere is going to have a 32-yard attempt to get some more points on the board, and gets it through. 7-6 now with 21 seconds left in the first quarter. We have had an explosive offensive start to this game, Wade.
We have started off with the long pass, and then ends up with Detroit with some just giant drives. That drive 10 plays with over 3 minutes and 30 seconds off the clock. So Detroit has been sustained drives, whereas Albuquerque had the splash play and then 3 and out.
And any Charleston people looking at this game are probably wondering themselves, why can we get this in the first quarter instead of the offensive explosion that we had in the 4th quarter alone? They did win the game, though. They did beat Chicago in the earlier slates, so kudos to Charleston, but I bet they wanted more yards than what they did tonight. Back to Albuquerque, though, as they start off their drive. 21 ticks left in the first quarter. There'll be a pass to start things off, and trying to go short. Can't quite find Marion, who was playing tight end on that formation. Chris Delro with the deflection.
And I believe that was a Queens look right there with Kay at the tight end, unless they put her at tight end sometimes. But absolutely great play by Chris Elwood just to sit right there and deflect that pass. Would have liked an interception, but we'll take a pass deflection.
Back to pair slot on 2nd and 10. They've called this formation for about the 3rd or 4th time just in this quarter. There will be another pass play. Jive looking over right, and finds Marion this time for a good 7-yard gain. And with the slow pace that Albuquerque's given, this might be the last play of the quarter.
It very well could be. I think you're right. It's going to be the end of the first.
Well, early fireworks in this game, Wade, have led to a 7-6 contest in favor of Albuquerque. That's the end of 1. Second quarter coming right at you in just a quick moment. And we welcome you back here in Detroit, Michigan. I'm Brett Solberg alongside the guy that looks a little bit better than the former Dallas head coach. It's Wade Phillips alongside with me. Start of the second quarter, and it's going to be a 3rd and 3 coming up for Albuquerque. Jive is going back to throw, finds Jack Wall down the middle of the field. Just an open pocket for Wall to get there, slung the ball, got the first down.
The blitz by the outside linebackers opened up that passing lane for Wall to catch that. The zone play by Delro opened up the space. Jack Wall caught it, and then we get a first down right here for Albuquerque's offense.
Yeah, and both these teams very explosive to start things off. Over 200 yards of total offense between these two teams combined, so both offenses have checked in right. And you see the numbers there, virtually identical, along with that virtually identical score. We're going to go stretch play to Slap here on this 1st and 10. And we'll get 8 yards out of him. And you have to be careful with Josh Slap. Yes, Gibson has the carries, but Slap has the yards.
Absolutely. And that average, 5.1 yards, good for 3rd in the league. You know, he is absolutely a game changer back there. And hey, that's no knocking Jason Williams and Justin Williams. Jason Williams, 374 yards up to today.
You know, strong eye on 2nd and 2. It's going to be another handoff, this time to Jason Williams, who gets enough for the first down. And this duo has been highly touted since the start of the season, ever since Slaps decided to sign with Albuquerque and leave Houston. Slap and Williams have been a deadly combo for this Adams squad. It's going to be another 2-receiver setup, this time on the left side. Maybe another stretch run, but cutting inside a slap, which probably was a good decision, and that's 4 yards out of it. 2nd and 6 coming.
That outside got shut down in a hurry, but Slab made a great read to cut it up the middle, pick up 4 where, theoretically, if he bounces outside, I think he's getting stopped at the line.
Going to be another strong eye setup, this time one receiver to the right side. It's going to be Williams with the carry, but not much doing. And you can't talk about this Detroit team without talking about how they are so good with the rushing attack. 3rd best in the league, only 76 yards allowed in the rush game.
Yes, they are monsters, and the tackles for loss play a big part in that. Parent and Cherry had 15 up today.
Jive back to throw on the split back formation, decides to go right, looking for an open target, and slightly overthrows the target down the middle on tight coverage, and it'll be a 3 and out, but a stalled drive from Albuquerque.
And Detroit's been blitzing with their linebackers, which kind of, astonishes me because their defensive line, the pressures, the sacks, 1st in the league in sacks at 39, and they just are such havoc causers that they don't really need to blitz with the linebackers.
And Ken Miller trying to do his best to try to pin Detroit deep, but punts that ball into the end zone. So Detroit's going to start things off at the 20-yard line. The last 2 scoring drives that we've seen since Wade have been Detroit field goals. Can they break that schneid and start getting to the end zone?
They've got to come up with some money plays in those situations where they need to make it or break it.
Maybe this ace pro formation again on 1st down. Flowers going to throw short. Finds CJ Parrish, but luckily gets to the line of scrimmage. That's going to be a 0-yard catch for CJ Parrish.
Definitely not what they wanted on the yardage, but it's a completed pass, keeps that momentum going. They need to get something right here, pick some up solid yards, and go with an easy play.
5 of 6 to start off is Flowers. He's going to look to throw things deep and finds Rob Hunt over on that near left side, and we got a flag on the play, which includes a face mask, so add some yards to that play.
Tack on an easy couple yards for the offense. Rob Hunt playing at an all-star level this season, and right there shows it. Gets a tough catch in a bit of traffic, and draws the penalty as well.
Amar Bryant Jr. with the infraction gives Detroit an extra 5 yards on the play, starts him off exactly at midfield on this 1st and 10. Flowers back to throw again, his 3rd straight pass, and this time incomplete, in between, looked like triple coverage trying to find Kahn. And this Albuquerque defense starting to see things, but let's talk about this defense while we're at it. Defensive line consisting of Chris Porter, Leo Jefferson, Neil Rivers, and Joshua Williams. Linebackers, Seth Berlin, Saeed Gore, Keenan Samuels, and William Patterson. Defensive backs with Amar Bryant Jr., Daniel Valentine, TJ Frosty, Jack Napier, and Bryant James. It's going to be 2nd and 10 now. 4th straight pass for Flowers, and this time trying to find the near target, but maybe throws this a little bit too low. 3rd and 10 coming up.
Right here, I believe, if it was me, I'd be trying to throw maybe some slants, some quick slants, something that you can lean on to complete a pass for, a solid 10 yards.
First 3rd and deep situation for Detroit in this game. It's going to be 3rd and 10. They're going to go triple. It'll be play action. Looking down middle and finds another target. Jimmy Wynn has been very explosive in this first half of the Detroit passing game.
He had 18 receptions up to tonight, and tonight he's been the just go-to man for Flowers, and I can't blame him. He's been getting open, been catching the ball, and been picking up 1st downs each time he catches it.
Yeah, and it looks to be flipping linebackers on assignment, because this time Samuels was in on coverage on Wint and just didn't have the speed again. 1st and 10. They're going to hand things off to Gibson on the stretch run, but can't get past the 2nd tackler. It's good work from Daniel Valentine to get that 2nd hit on Gibson, just a 1-yard gain.
You said it. The corral by Valentine got the job done to only 1-yard gain. So excellent job by the defense to stay strong and stick with your defensive partners.
Another 2 tight end set on 2nd down. It'll be back to throw as Flowers looking down the middle, finds CJ Parrish, gets down to the middle of the field, gets inside the red zone, and Detroit again is knocking at the door.
just absolutely threaded a needle right there. The defense was right in the way of the ball, but CJ Parrish did not care. The safety right there comes up. TJ Frosty tries to intercept it, but Parrish somehow comes down with it, and now Ethan Flowers putting the ball in a tight window completes that first down.
And this is a Detroit Maulers team that has struggled with the pass game this season, 21st in the league. And right now, Flowers netting over 100 yards so far in this first half. Overthrows his target, but there's a flag down. That's going to be pass interference.
That's exactly what Detroit needed right there. That's like you said, automatic first down, first and goal on the Albuquerque 2. So now Detroit right here, let's see. Yeah, I kind of tough play, but kind of impeded the progress of the receiver. So
let's give credit where credit's due, though, Wade. It was a great crossing pattern between Wint and Henson, which caused the defenders to kind of get stuck in translation, and that's what caused the infraction. Yes, it is ticky-tack, but PI is PI at the end of the day, and Detroit first and goal at the 2-yard line. And it will be a handoff to Gibson, who has nobody near him. He could have walked to have a picnic with himself. Detroit gets another 6 on the board.
His 7th touchdown of the season, and that's exactly what they needed from this drive. The first two kind of stalled out at the end and forced the field goal, but right there, just beautiful blocking. The fullback had no one to block because everyone was taken care of, and that's exactly what you want to see from your offense near the goal line. Just an easy conversion right there.
Yeah, picture perfect from the Detroit offensive line to split the gap and give Gibson absolutely all the room possible, and now gives Gibson his 7th rushing touchdown of the season, which keeps him in the top 3 of the league in terms of rushing touchdowns. It is now a 13-7 game here in Detroit. You're watching the Simulation Football League action here on the Virtual Football Network. This week on VFN, SFL Week 11 continues tomorrow and Monday, while the UFL Conference Finals get going Tuesday ahead of the inaugural UFL Championship game Friday, November 3rd. No other network gives you more football. The SFL lives on VFN. Clarence Lee with a decent return up to the 28-yard line, and now Albuquerque facing a deficit, now down 6. What is the game plan if you're on the headset of Albuquerque right now?
I want an extended drive. We had the quick touchdown that first play, and then it's been just kind of a little bit of nothing. That second, the last drive for them, did all right, but we just need an extended drive. We get into opponent territory and see where we end up.
Plays are a huge discrepancy so far after a quarter and a half. It is 31-14 in terms of plays in favor of Detroit. And this will be play number 15, first play of the new drive for Albuquerque, a stretch play, and it was great jump from the Detroit defense to just stymie slap enough. Casper Haddock with the stymie only gets 3 yards.
Casper Haddock is 6'6", 270, a giant linebacker. And right there, he only has 20 tackles on the season, but he blew through the line. Unfortunately, shook off the tackle.
Drive again, hands things off, this time to Williams, and can't get anywhere. And speaking of Casper Haddock, Wade, I've been here for nearly 9 years at this point. What's it got to take for my player to be 6'6"?
You just have to eat your Wheaties and eat your vitamins and a lot of steroids, honestly.
Dude, I ate the fridge out of my parents' place growing up. What else do I need to do? It's going to be a 3-receiver look on this I formation. Jive back to throw and almost gets sacked and almost throws an interception to Chris Delro. That could have been a double whammy. Sean Parent this close to getting sack number 15 on the season.
And it's unreal that we're talking about 15 in the season. They've played 8 games up, so this is the 9th game, and it's just mind-boggling.
And what also doesn't help, Robert Cherry, and he's second in the league with 11. So that defensive interior front, fumble on the return, and it's going to be recovered by Albuquerque. Well, excuse me for talking. Albuquerque, let me do your business here. Albuquerque's got the football deep in enemy territory.
That's what they needed. JP Machado right there gets the cleanup on the fumble. Oh, beautiful play. Just not enough speed, but wow, that's what your special teams stands up when you need a play. And now Albuquerque gets the ball back in very threatening territory. This is absolutely, other than that touchdown, best field position of the day for them.
Utility player Gary Baxter with the bump of the football that gives Albuquerque possession of the football at the 27-yard line of Detroit territory. And they're going pair slot on first down, handoff to Slap will net 5 yards, and they're going to stick with that run game, which has got them to the 4-3 record. Yes,
it has, and Slap is just, their running back trio is too good to not utilize them, and the Adams are in a prime position to try to soak up some clock and get some yardage.
Yeah, unofficially 6 carries for 25 yards. Got to give credit to Michaela Foraker and Zach Holdorf on stats, and that's going to be a very close call, but they're going to net Albuquerque a first down.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if we see a challenge. Doesn't look like they're gonna, but yeah, now they've got the wide open playbook to do anything right here.
Split spread on 1st and 10. We've seen this formation once or twice already, and it will be a handoff to the inside, but absolutely demolished. And this is the first time that we're seeing Matthias Citrion in the game, first tackle of the game.
And they needed it. Forces a 2nd and 10 that, just tightens that playbook just a little bit more, and now they've got a
back to split backs, and it will be drive back to throw, finds Jack Wall, who crosses the goal line play. I am the wall, brother. Albuquerque gets 6 on the board.
It looked like there was a wall that was going to prevent him from getting in, but no, sir. He just put his shoulder down and just used all he could to get in there. We'll see if the play gets reviewed, but looks like it's going to stand at the moment. Jack Wall caught that in tough traffic to bring that down. Excellent play by this Albuquerque Adams offense.
The red zone threat, the former Canton Classic, gets his 3rd of the season, his 45th of his 12-season career, and now Albuquerque back on top by 1 point. Back and forth contest in this first half.
Yes, and that's exactly what Albuquerque needed. They're right back on top of this ball game, and now Detroit's got to respond.
That kick again sails past the end zone. Detroit not an opportunity to return that back to the 20-yard line. The Maulers go, and when you're thinking about this from an offensive perspective, you have fought so hard to get 2 field goals and then a touchdown to get that 6-point lead, and then Albuquerque strikes back and retake the lead. Is that demoralizing as an offensive player?
I don't think so. I think it just makes you work harder and try to, put some more back on the board for, your team.
Henson's going to shift over on this ace pro formation, now a slot receiver. It'll be a toss play to Henson's opposite side, and maybe they could have used his blocking to get Gibson more than just the 2 yards on that first down play.
They've been averaging, quite a bit on the clock each drive. So, they've been eating up those seconds. So we'll see if they try to stretch this all the way through this second quarter.
TOP has been the name of the game for Detroit this season. They have made it their MO to dominate the time so that no chance does the other team get a look back in this game. Flowers throws on the back foot and still finds his receiver, Rob Hunt. Great catch from him, but even better throw from Flowers.
Yes, because anytime you see a quarterback try to throw off, on a scramble or off their back foot, you normally see danger. But right there, completed a perfect pass.
And wait, very quickly, we're going to get ourselves into the 2-minute warning. We haven't even been broadcasting for a full 40 minutes, but 2 minutes left in the second quarter. We got ourselves a 1-point game.
Yes, we do.
Brett Sahlberg, Wade Phillips here, 120 seconds left in this first half. Just a narrow 14-13 game, but Detroit's driving. Flowers with the short connection, finds Parrish once again. His 3rd target, gets a nice catch and run of 8 yards.
And they needed that. CJ needed that. He needed to catch that, and he did. He did his job. picked up 8, and now we'll see if, Ethan wants to milk this clock the rest of the half, or if they want to strike quick.
It all depends if they can cross that midfield line. We see a lot of aggressive tendencies once it gets to that point, but they won't get it because TJ Frosty says, nah, you're not going to get past that midfield marker.
Those run supporters in that secondary are doing a great job today in limiting the impact of this fantastic rushing attack for the Maulers.
It's going to be a handoff. Gibson, plenty of space, just breezes right past, right to the 45. It'll be the first timeout for Detroit called, and this is where we're going to see that aggressive tendency start to come for Detroit.
Yes, and I'll be interested to see how many times they run. Obviously, they're going to want to pick up first downs, but we'll see how much time they can milk off the clock.
Single back. This is going to be a spread formation with 3 receivers, and they're going to make Gibson the 4th receiver out there. Remember, Gibson was a former wide receiver turned running back. Tries to find Gibson over on the right side, but Flowers just airmails that a little bit too high.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of traffic over there, but you tried. Andrew Gibson's a phenomenal receiver of the ball out of the backfield, and right there just couldn't complete it. But Detroit's got 2 timeouts, got the clock stopped. We'll see if they can put together something right here.
Yeah, either getting a field goal or a score is probably their goal with 1:04 left in this first half. Flowers back to throw again, looking for the middle, finds Jimmy Wint one more time, calls their second timeout. It has been the Jimmy Wint show on the passing game.
Beautiful play design right there. We saw all curls basically on the left side of the field, and Jimmy Wint just hustling down across the field, catches it. Huge first down now inside the 30.
Yeah, it's favorable territory, but when they want to get themselves closer so that Aldmere has a little bit more cushion room if they are going to settle for a field goal. But I like the ultra-aggressive style so far from this Detroit drive since they passed midfield. Flowers with a quick throw, one-handed catch. Jimmy Wint is displaying his athleticism, and they're going to go hurry up. Deeper drop from Flowers this time, goes middle again, finds Parrish, and they're going to go hurry up once again, trying to make me lose my breath during this whole time. As Flowers drops again, looking for Wint, but under triple coverage, and finally, Wade, I can take a deep breath. Take it over.
Take a breath. Dangerous pass right there. Triple coverage, like you said. And I think he just fell in love with that play and Jimmy Wint as on the connection, and right there just incomplete. Almost an interception though.
And I don't blame Flowers going for Jimmy Wint because since then he's been connected all through that. And speaking of connections, Robert Henson Jr. Throw it to the tight end, says Mike Daggs, and throw it he does. 6 on the board for Detroit.
And a phenomenal cap to their first half. And they are playing to win the game. They're not playing to not lose. Today, Detroit came out firing, and that aberration, the first play of the day, and now we've seen it culminate in a touchdown nearing the end of the first half. Right there, Robert Henson Jr. playing bully ball in the end zone, establishes excellent position on the inside to catch that ball.
This has been a completely different look than the Week 9 Detroit Maulers team that got limited to 7 points against Minnesota. They've got 20 on the board in this first half and nearly 300 yards of offense, 20-14, with about less than 30 ticks left in the second quarter.
This has been an absolutely stunning turnaround, absolutely.
And now it's Albuquerque's time to respond. His return goes right to the 1, and looking to get past, he will get to around the 29-yard line. That's Kyle Fenimore, but can't quite get that break that he's been looking for. And now with 27 seconds left, it's decision time on how aggressive you want to be if you're the Adams. It's the heavy pair slot look on 1st and 10. Drive will go back to throw, looking to his right side, maybe throws that a little bit too low to the 6'4" K. Marion and falls incomplete.
King Rashid was absolutely, eyes went as big as saucers right there. He saw that ball, thought he was going to take it to the house, but drops it. But that adds to his impressive pass deflection totals on this season.
Let's check that. 6'6" is K-Man. Again, why does she get to be 6'6", but I had to be less than 6'5"? Jive, back to throw. Throws off his front foot and still finds K. Marion. And there's that 6'6" frame coming into effect. Albuquerque calls their first timeout.
And it answers our question. What are they going to do to finish out this half? I think that's our answer. I think they're going to try to absolutely put some points on the board. I love to see it. I hate when teams just run out the clock.
And very quickly, I got to give credit to Robert Henson Jr., his first touchdown reception of his career. Kudos to him. Looking for Finnemore is Cyrus Jive, but can't get that catch to happen. A little bit of ticky-tack physical action between those two players, but the flag stays in the pocket.
Yeah, not a bad no call right there. Let him play. It wasn't super egregious, and now they're going to let him keep on rolling.
Now 2nd and 10 near midfield for Albuquerque. 16 seconds left. There's still opportunity to get down the field, try to get a field goal out of this. And they're going to look deep to Kyle Finnemore, the former Atlanta Swarm, making Detroit pay. Second timeout call from Albuquerque.
And this is what Albuquerque needs. They need to finish strong. They're getting very close to field goal territory, but I know they want 6 right here instead of 3.
Sammy Steele has hit from 49 already this season. The goal here would get to around the 30-yard line. Run play for Josh Slapp. Can't quite get to it, and will call their third and final timeout of the half. 7 seconds left at the 35, which would mark them for about a 52-yard field goal.
And maybe that run was just to set them up in prime position for their kicker the best way he likes it. No, they're going to go for it.
It's Hail Gary time for Albuquerque. I've been waiting to say that for so long since I started doing play-by-play, I'll be honest. Jive goes deep, goes high, goes far, finds K. Marion, but she's 5 yards short. Very, very impressive work from both Jive and Marion to get the catch, but that's going to end the half. Detroit sustains their lead and will head to the locker room with the lead here. Unbelievable stuff. Like I said, offensive explosion that's carried from the first quarter continued in the second quarter, and now Detroit has themselves the lead. 14-20 is your halftime score. Wade Phillips, tell us all about it.
Detroit came to play. The defense has been playing lights out. Albuquerque, I think, weren't expecting this much of a fight early on by the Maulers, and the Maulers were happy to play spoiler. They have been effective, staying mistake-free for the most part. There was the fumble on the kick return, but the Adams, couldn't get sustained success early on other than that wild first play we had. But, the Maulers have been absolutely just establishing their footprint on this game.
And it's been a wide receiver show. K. Marion is the first half player of the game, but Jimmy Wynn also has to be credited as well. 5 receptions, 84 yards unofficially from him. He has set the momentum for the Detroit offense as we return back to Parks Memorial to start this third quarter. Brett Sahlberg along with Wade Phillips here in the booth, statisticians of Michaela Foraker and Zach Holdorf. And of course, we can't have this game without producer and commissioner extraordinaire, Mr. Cameron Irvine, as the second half begins with Detroit having the football off this kickoff. Caught at the 5-yard line, and Parrish trying to get some extra yards. Will get past the 30. Will shrug off about 5 defenders before getting dragged down to the 38-yard line. This is easily Detroit's best starting position in this game.
Yes, it is. And now we'll see if they continue the run they had in that first half and keep up momentum and just keep that foot on the pedal. Or do we see Albuquerque light a spark on this team and get it going?
What we haven't seen so far in this game, Wade, is multi-possession leads from either team. Detroit has their opportunity on this ensuing opening drive in the second half. They're going to go ace pro once again to start off this drive, and they're going to move Kahn over to the right side, right beside Henson Jr. There will be a handoff to that side to Gibson, who pushes forward for 8 yards. And Detroit does really well with the lead in terms of TOP, and they've basically dominated in the first half, and it looks like their goal again is to dominate that TOP.
You said it. So far, it's working right there on that play. A solid 8-yard gain, and it's going to continue to wind this clock down, and Maulers are establishing early on that they want to milk this clock.
3.1 yards per carry so far from Gibson. Has had some big plays, some short plays. This time Harleman gets a carry and will drive past the first down marker and get a couple extra. And right now that 1-2 punch is starting to take a hit to Albuquerque to start off the third quarter.
It is. It's starting to kind of fatigue this defense. This two-headed rushing attack for the Maulers is absolutely soaking it in.
Going back to Ace Pro, this time they're going to pass out of it, and it's a nice crossing pattern that finds Rob Hunt that will net 9.99999 yards.
And his third reception right there, 25 yards was his longest, but right there, they needed him, and he brought it, but like you said, 9.999 yards.
Sharing the love is the wide receivers, as Gibson tries to get to the first down marker, but Neil Rivers and Keenan Samuel says, nada.
We haven't seen Terrell Sutherland today. I'd love to see him on this play. You just need a few inches. Let's see his name called right here.
They're going to go single backs. Oh, no, they're going to go strong eye. Excuse me. I didn't see Sutherland, sneaking off camera, but they're going to go with Gibson again and gets the open space for the first down past the 35, getting close to the 30-yard line. Is Andrew Gibson, and again, trusting on him to get the football, getting close to that 20 carry mark again.
And this line has been phenomenal today so far, and it's been effective. It's been affecting their run game.
Very slowly is Detroit pushing down the field. Toss play to Harleman, but doesn't have the speed to get past Gore, who's got his 7th tackle of the game, which leads the team.
And Harleman didn't switch that ball to his left hand. I'd like to see him switch that when he's going to the left, because when you've got that ball in the other hand, you're a prime target for a fumble.
Yeah, and you want to have that right arm available if you're going left to have that stiff arm. That's what you want. Roll out from Flowers over to the left side. Finds C.J. Parrish, and like I said, sharing the wealth has been Ethan Flowers to this wide receiver trio.
Absolutely, and the tight ends are getting involved. I mean, he's targeted pretty much everybody on the team minus the backs in the pass game. We had the pass to Gibson, but right there, C.J. Parrish caught that in a tough spot, brought it down for a first down, and that's phenomenal work. Ethan Flowers has been loving the middle of the field today, 196 yards through the middle.
Every single contracted offensive receiver for Detroit has had a touch in this game. Kahn has 1, Henson has 2, Parrish and Wynn have 5, Rob Hunt has 3. It has been an absolute share of the wealth. Harleman gets stuffed on the stretch run, and I think Albuquerque's starting to figure out those outside runs is what Detroit wants to do.
Yes, and they've been reading it a lot better in this second half, and so far it just hasn't quite had that same effect as it did earlier, but I'd like to see the Maulers kind of run up the middle a little more, try to expose this middle of the defense.
Yeah, and it looks like the spreading of that defensive line as well is kind of having Albuquerque guessing outside again here on this 2nd and 10 play. But it will be a pass this time for Flowers. A short step drop evades the pursuant. Leo Jefferson throws off his back foot, which may not have worked this time, and now is forced to 3rd and 10.
And it looked like, he was targeting Rob Hunt right there, but the double coverage right into traffic is a tough play for a wide receiver, and Ethan Flowers was definitely tempting fate right there with that pass, but fortunately for them, incomplete.
That's a big 3rd and 10 coming up. We haven't had a lot of 3rd down situations, but Detroit has been 5 of 7 so far in this game. Flowers back to throw, looking end zone, can't quite find his target on double coverage, and it's going to be Daniel Valentine with the deflection to stall the Detroit drive.
And Valentine's leading the Albuquerque defense in pass deflections tonight with 2, and so far they've needed it because he's come up big in a few spots with tackles at 4 tonight, and just in the coverage, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, that's the best you can ask for, especially in a game that hasn't seen any turnovers yet. Jive and Flowers have played relatively clean so far. Aldmere with another 32-yard attempt, this time off the right hash, looking to curl it in, and just gets it off the right post, which extends this lead. It's the first multi-score lead here, Wade, 23-14 as we get through this third quarter. It is no surprise VFN is live again. Please support our hardworking crew by smashing the like button, subscribing, and commenting on this video. It really helps the channel out. Turn notifications on as well so you never miss a live stream, highlight, or podcast. I've done that and much more. You can even send super chats if you want. See if we can get more than, $100 than those goofs over there. What is it, Dags and Smith?
Yeah.
We can get more than that, Wade. Let's just, let's get some money in our pockets here.
We will sing happy birthday as well.
And by the way, thank you for your support of the Virtual Football Network and the SFL so that Cam doesn't burn me on any ad fines here. 6:04 left here in the third quarter. Albuquerque looking to drive down 9, looking down middle as Jive finds Jack Wall and starts off with a hot 15-yard play on that drive. Detroit's been good offensively, but so has Albuquerque.
Yeah, and that's Jack's third catch of the day for, almost half a century right there, but a big play, first down. Now Albuquerque continues to drive. We'll see if the halftime speech by the coaching staff will really lit a fire into this team.
Yeah, and Albuquerque's done well with less as well. Again, only in the first half, only 7 minutes and 7 seconds of total possession time, which is far less than they anticipated. Jive back to throw again, finds Marion on that left side again. You leave Marion wide open, she is a threat.
Yes, she is. Like you mentioned before, 6'6", just a huge target. She is absolutely just phenomenal back there. Almost 150 yards today on 5 receptions. Just phenomenal work. Just absolutely getting out there and beating people in the secondary.
Yeah, and 6'2" might be tall, but King Rashid looks like Muggsy Bogues against Shaquille O'Neal in that battle. Handoff over to Josh Slapple, net 6 yards.
And it'll be interesting to see if he can get started. Kind of a quiet half in the first half. Only 31 yards so far in the game, but we'll see if they can get him started as well as Jason Williams.
They've split the runs and passes pretty evenly. 14 runs, 14 pass attempts. Going to be a handoff again, this time to Jason Williams, who will get a couple extra past the first down marker. And right now, there seems to be no sign of panic, which is a good thing for the Adams offense.
You said it. You can't panic. You got to stay strong. You got to stay confident, have a short-term memory, and keep on fighting.
High spread here on 1st and 10. Jive, 5-step drop, looking down middle, finds Marion wide open, beats Rashid again. And that seems to be the story of this drive, is how open K. Marion can get for Cyrus Jive.
Yeah, she got right behind the defense. It looked like a few of them were stuck in zone, and she just got right back there into a perfect spot, just in a little soft spot behind the coverage, and easy pitch and catch. She caught it. Beautiful first down. Now 165 yards receiving in the third quarter.
6 catches now for Marion, and you saw the number, $165, which is about 110 more than I had in my last week game, but hey, I got an extra touchdown still, but Marion can still beat it. 1st and 10, they're splitting the receivers on this pair slot. It's going to be an inside handoff, this time to Slap. But Chris Delro coming in on the safety blitz decided to, you know what, let's get ourselves a halfback tackle.
Yeah, 2 tackles, 2 pass deflections. Chris Delro's shown up when they need him, and they need more of that for the rest of the game.
Pair slot again on 2nd and 10. Jive will go back to throw, looking to the outside, finds Marion, catch and run. Will turn a 1-yard play into an 8-yard play. Enough open space, but can't quite get the first down. Does get herself out of bounds to stop the clock.
There was an ocean of open space over there. She caught it and turned up the field. I thought she'd just walk into the end zone. Thankfully for Detroit's defense, they were there and stopped her.
Back to lining up as a tight end is Kay Marion, the multifaceted, multi-time all-star, playing a big effect in this Albuquerque offense. Fenimore going from left to right. It'll be a swing pass over to Slap, but doesn't get the blocking, and that'll stall Albuquerque's drive. Are they going to go for it, though, down 9, or are they going to settle for the field goal?
Ooh, if it's me, I might go for that first down. Jubilee Marsh right there, leading Detroit in tackles tonight with 7 with a big stop. Oh, they're kicking it.
They're going to go with their ultra-reliable Sammy Steele. 11th season in the league, first for Albuquerque, and that stays true right down Main Street and cuts this lead down to 6. And that is possibly best case scenario for a drive that stalls if you're Albuquerque.
You know, it's stalled, but Albuquerque, that has to be, other than that touchdown near the end of the half, that's their best drive. I mean, 3 minutes and change off the clock, and you have sustained success. That's, you know, moral victory right there. And if they continue, they've got good outlook and a good outlook for the rest of the game.
This will go back to Detroit, who has an opportunity to extend the lead again. Parrish decides to return it out of the end zone and only gets to the 23-yard line. And Wade, we have gone final in Mexico City. Mexico City, the Aztecs, they survive a tough and feisty Carolina team 21-16 as Mexico City improves things and still tries to get a stranglehold on the South, with Houston still leading the way. Toss play to start off the drive to Gibson will be Detroit, but only a 1-yard gain. TJ Frosty recognized the play and said there's not a chance of getting more than a yard.
You mentioned it earlier in the game. I think you're absolutely right on the money. The Adams are absolutely focusing on those outside runs in this second half, and it is just getting bottled up every single time.
Yeah, and Albuquerque continue needs to do that, as well as trying to get to the quarterback. But it'll be a great catch and run from Terrell Sutherland. You've been talking his name for so long, and he gets into the passing department with a beautiful catch and run that goes way past the first down marker and then some.
You said I've been waiting for this. He's just too good to just not be getting involved, and right there gets involved, picks up a first down, ran strong with after the reception. A phenomenal play for Flowers to find the check down and get that first down.
And for those of you coming from the Mexico City-Carolina game, we welcome you to a very tightly knit contest here in Detroit as the Maulers are cruising down. Gibson with a 5-yard gain. They are up 6 at the moment, but Albuquerque has been fighting back this entire game. It has been a close one here, Mr. Phillips.
Yes, it has. That first half was very tight contest, and this second half is no different.
2nd and 5 coming up inside enemy territory now. Looks like they're moving Wint to the outside over the right. It'll be an outside stretch again. This time the Harleman will get the first down. And again, that outside run, Albuquerque's got to recognize that if they're going to stop and stall this Detroit offense.
Yes, they are, because Detroit is just feasting on it. And Albuquerque was doing a good job bottling it up earlier on in this half, but now just right there, Harleman got it and picked up the first.
With a team that is run first, you have to be focused on stopping that run first. 1st and 10 near the 40-yard line. It'll be a stretch run again to Gibson, and this time they stall him out for only 2 yards. Saeed Gore with his 8th tackle of this contest.
Albuquerque's defensive coordinator's got to be loving this second half in stopping the run. You know, after that first half that kind of gave up a little bit.
Ace Pro here on this play, and they're going to decide to throw it to the outside. It was a good call, but too low is the throw from Flowers. Hunt can't manage to scarf that ball up. 3rd and 8.
And that's our first just outright drop that we've seen, I want to say, pretty much all game. They've been just absolutely eating them up. You know, there's been some incompletions, but first drop.
And 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left on 3rd and 8. They're going to look to possibly pass this, and it will be play action. Looking deep, and it's picked off. That's the first mistake from Ethan Flowers in this game, right into the ball hands of Jack Napier. And now momentum is shifted back to the Adams side.
Jack has 8 tackles today, and that interception is a huge play that the Albuquerque's defense needed. Detroit could not afford a turnover right now, and now Albuquerque gets the ball back in pretty good field position. They can at least try to score on this drive.
The Joker turns things around for Albuquerque, and now the Adams looking to cruise their way, possibly to tie or take the lead on this drive. Handoff on first down to Slap will only get 2 yards. Good job from Jubilee Marsh to stuff that, and that is going to be the end of an exciting third quarter here. Wade, Detroit still sustaining a 6-point lead, but will that turnover be costly? 23-17 Maulers, end of 3. We'll be right back. It's time to put your 4s up in chat, ladies and gentlemen. Brett Sahlberg alongside Wade Phillips for an exciting fourth quarter between Detroit and Albuquerque. 6-point game, but Albuquerque looking to make that lead vanish for the Maulers. And let's get Kay Marion to slide over to the right side, spraying the receivers on this pair slot. And it'll be a stretch run to Josh Slap, who will bruise his way forward and make this a third and manageable, very manageable, coming up for Albuquerque.
And the thing about Detroit's defense today, when you can hold Josh Slap to under 50 yards through until the fourth quarter, you have done an absolute outstanding job. So Detroit can take that away from this game.
Albuquerque averaging 145 yards of rushing, and they have been extremely limited. Like that play, Sean Perrin, he can't do only sacks, he can do TFLs as well, and has now forced Albuquerque 1 of 7 on third down.
And you're not going to win a game when you're 1 of 7 on third down. It's just it's near impossible.
And now forced to punt this football away. Detroit can count their blessings that the turnover did not result into points. Return up to the 29-yard line is going to be Rob Hunt, excuse me. There's cross track of names there, but it was a decent return to at least get outside the shadow of your own end zone to around the 30-yard line. Detroit now has a game plan to more than likely stretch out this clock as much as possible.
And they've been doing it all day. We've been saying it all day. Their TOP has been outstanding, and we'll see if they continue and milk this clock even more.
They have outpaced Albuquerque by more than 7 minutes through the first 3 quarters. Can they continue to stretch it out? Pass connected to Jimmy Wint, who has been the star of this show. He has been hidden behind some great receivers, but tonight is Jimmy Wint's night.
Yes, it is. We've been calling his name all night. And right there, wide open in the middle, the post gets a phenomenal break on the defense. Now he catches it, picks up the first. Now the Maulers, and look at that. Jimmy went over the century mark in receiving, and you know he had 255 yards up to today. So phenomenal day.
Yeah, it's a big accomplishment to get those 100-yard games, because that means your pass game is working really well in that week. It'll be a stretch play to Joel Harleman, who will only get 2 yards. And again, Detroit trusting in that stretch game, but Albuquerque is figuring it out.
Yes, they are. But the thing about it is it keeps this clock going. Detroit, you know, if they get a field goal, they're back up 2 scores. So they just got to play the long game here.
Back to the tight ends on opposite sides, where they're going to shift Parrish to overload that right side with 2 receivers, Parrish and Hunt on the right side. Handoff this time to Gibson, who shrugs off 1 tackler, but can't get through TJ Frosty, which I think that's the second big hit he's had on Gibson tonight.
It was a 4-3 man look right there. Gibson, I thought he might be able to break the tackle and shoot through there for a big gain, but the defense did just enough to force now the 3rd and 5.
Dual tight ends on the right side, but it'll be a pass. It'll be a wide open catch for Rob Hunt, excuse me, who has got plenty of space over on the left side and break open the lead. Detroit does. 6 on the board. Rob Hunt with the score.
Lamar Bryant went for the pass right there, went for the interception, it looked like, right here. Oh no, over pursued. Got a little too ahead of him. Rob Hunt catches that, takes off to the races, and that's a phenomenal play by this Detroit Maulers passing game. And now they're up 2 scores comfortably, and now Albuquerque, you know, on the back feet has to respond with a touchdown.
Rob Hunt's thinking to himself, why did it take 9 games for me to get my first receiving touchdown? But touchdowns are touchdowns, and Detroit breaks the 30-point marker, which I believe is for the first time this season for them. It's now 30 points to 17.
Yeah, this has been, if not their best, one of their best games of the season.
The return from Kyle Fenimore, who does cross the 30-yard line, but not much further. And again, going back to that Detroit offense, I think this is also the first time, Wade, that we've seen Detroit with over 400 yards of offense, and it's not been through the run. It has been through Ethan Flowers in the pass game.
Yeah, and this is their first game with over 30 points this season.
And now Cyrus Jive looking to respond in kind. He's been pretty well in the pocket as well. 238 yards so far with 2 touchdowns, and continues that with another 4 to K. Marion, who has been his favorite target in the second half.
Yes, and Albuquerque is absolutely still in this ball game. They are a dangerous team, and all it takes, like we saw in that first play, one play, and they drove the entire field with a big play. That's all they need. Cyrus Jive can absolutely make it happen.
Albuquerque did start off this game with an 80-yard catch and score from K. Marion, as Jive again finds Jack Wall, this time looking for the bigger, burlier target, and he uses those hefty wheels to get even more yardage. First down for Albuquerque.
Just phenomenal play. Jack Wall is just one of those mainstays in this league that, you know, if you've called games enough, you're going to just see a game where he just breaks out. And today he's been doing the tough work. He's been putting in a shift at the factory and been doing a phenomenal job today.
6'7", 255. Like I said, he is the Wall, brother. First and 10 will be a handoff to Jason Williams, who won't get many on that. Maybe 3 yards to set up a 2nd and 7.
We need to see some high success plays right here for Albuquerque. It's not too late, but it's slowly, that father time is slowly creeping up on them, so they need to be decisive.
3 receivers out, spread formation on this weak eye formation, but they are going to shift Fenimore over to the left slot. It will be a handoff to Fenimore's side. Slap will get a couple extra more, and now this is a big point for Albuquerque. I stated this before. 3rd down woes, it's 3rd and 3.
Yeah, we've kind of set it into the dirt. Just, you know, they've got to find some success on 3rd down.
They're going to go with their trusty pair slot formation on 3rd and 3. There will be a throw from Jive, looking for Marion, who was wide open, but overthrows her by a good 2 yards. And now it's 4th and decision for Albuquerque.
Yeah, just heartbreaking. She was wide open, and they're going to punt it. But, you know, Kay was wide open, but just incomplete by Cyrus. Just unfortunate.
Looking to trust in their defense as Albuquerque, as Ken Miller punts it for, I believe, only the 2nd time in this game. And it will be jumbled and still recovered by Detroit. Very risky call from Hunt to try to bobble that ball with such tight coverage from this Albuquerque special teams.
Yeah, at that point, when you've got a special teams gunner in your face, you just let that bounce. I mean, you can't just stress the fumble like earlier.
Yeah, that's dangerous, and almost could have been another momentum shifter to Albuquerque's way. Toss play on 1st down to Gibson, who has space and will get 9 yards. And again, Detroit going back to just trying to shed that clock until they see 000.
It was a generous spot. I thought maybe they'd stop them for, 2nd and 3, but no, great play by the run game.
Heavy set on 2nd down. They're going to stretch it over to the weak side, and Harleman can't get anywhere. And again, you're looking at guys like Saeed Gore and Keenan Samuels and TJ Frosty in the vicinity. 3rd and 1 coming up.
And now Detroit had better success on 3rd down today, and they need it right now. No bigger time than the moment.
Flipping the formation on 3rd and 1. Are they going to go to the right side on this stretch play? Now they're going to go middle, and it doesn't work out. Bryant James all-star caliber campaign so far this season, and that's another TFL and forces a 3-and-out.
And if I couldn't see, I would have thought he was back in the backfield before that play happened. But no, he just busted through the line and got that stop. Phenomenal play by Albuquerque's defense to force that punt.
Now Milan fails, looking to punt this one deep and give Albuquerque a little bit of a tougher time to move down the field. We'll get past the 40, and immediately smashed is the returner in Kyle Finnemore at the Albuquerque 39-yard line. But Albuquerque's going to take that position.
Absolutely. It's some of their best field position today, and it's, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the end zone. So we'll see if they can, try to put points on the board.
Swole in the chat saying that we need to score on this drive, and I agree with them. Less than 4 to go. Looking down the middle, and it will be caught by Justin Williams. That's the first time we've seen the Albuquerque fullback in this game. It'll set up a 2nd and 3.
Only his second reception on the season, but right there, it didn't pick up much, but they're going to try to get this first.
And they're going to kind of quicken the pace here as Slap tries to get to the first down marker and doesn't quite get to it. Now 3rd and inches. They're going to stick in this formation in the hurry up. Maybe a quick step drop. Looking down the middle, it's incomplete. I'm not sure if a pass play would have been privy on a 3rd and inches play, but nonetheless, they try to throw that ball and try to get Detroit off guard, but the Mahler defense was ready.
Absolutely. When Josh Slap through the season averages 5 yards a carry, but now they're going to go for it. We'll see.
Yeah, and they're going to go with that 2-receiver set on the right side. They've got a strong side, a weak side fullback, and they're going to move K. Marion 4th and inches. This is a huge decision of what to do. They're going to go with a quick drop, looking for Marion, and again, Jive overthrows her, and it's going to result in a turnover on downs.
Yeah, Detroit played that perfectly. Didn't give them any space to work with. Right here, K goes for it. Looks like there was a little bit of physicality, but, did kind of throw it into bunch coverage. But, man, I would think, you lean on your run backs right there.
Yeah, on an inches play, you're known for your run game, and you go with the pass. It might have been just to misdirect the Detroit defense, but the Maulers were ready. 1st and 10, they're going to go stretch play to Gibson. Will only net 2 yards, and again, Albuquerque's defense is tasked to try to stop this clock and stop the drive to get the football back.
Albuquerque, like you said, they've got to get a stop right here. They need a 3-and-out right here. Maulers, on the other hand, they need to run as much as possible effectively and pick up just a few first downs. That's all they need.
The game clock now down to under 3 minutes, and they were very slow to their formation as this clock gets close to 2:40. Now ticking under 2:40 on this heavy set. They're going to go weak side run to Harleman, who's got space past the 40, past the 35, and gets stretched out of bounds at the 31-yard line. It does stop the clock for Albuquerque, but that's a huge run, one we haven't seen tonight from Joel Harleman.
Joel will be absolutely thanking his blockers right there. They did a phenomenal job. And look at those blockers running on the 2nd level, trying to pick up blocks. Phenomenal play. Got out of bounds. That's the unfortunate part. Stops this clock. But, hey, if they can continue that kind of play, don't even score, just run this clock out. They've got this wrapped up.
It's been a great passing game from Detroit, but you cannot forget about how potent that run game is. Now at 129 yards, and they'll get another yard from Andrew Gibson on that carry as he steps up to his 22nd carry and probably has a couple more left in the tank tonight.
Yeah, and I'd like to see Ethan just kind of let this clock wind down. It looks like they will to the 2-minute warning, which gives them even more chance of punching their ticket to a win.
And this is exactly what head coach Casper Haddock wants out of this Detroit offense, now up 13 points, 2-minute warning here in Detroit. They have a comfortable 13-point lead, but can Albuquerque find a way to stall this drive and get the football back? That is the question. We'll be right back. Well, back here in Detroit, Michigan, as the Maulers have had this Detroit crowd happy with a 13-point lead. And they're stretching this baby out as much as they can. Stretch play, speak of, to Andrew Gibson, who's gonna waltz his way to the end zone, nail in the coffee. You can hear the hammers go. 6 on the board for Detroit.
And that puts it at 3 touchdowns. 3-score lead right there. Wow, the blocking, phenomenal. Play call, phenomenal. The fullback, Terrell Sutherland, motions to the left, picks up a block on the outside, and then Gibson, home free, saunters into the end zone, and they put a dagger into the game.
And what you see a lot sometimes from that motion is the shift to the weak side, and they still run strong side, but Gibson stays on the weak side, follows his blocker, and has plenty of space to go through. And Detroit are now just a $155 away from getting themselves to 5-4. 5 wins, something that they haven't seen as a franchise since season 20. They just need to sustain that for another minute 55 longer as they kick that back to Albuquerque. And it will be returned at the 5-yard line, get past the 20 to the 27-yard line is Kyle Finnemore. And now we're probably going to see an ultra-aggressive Albuquerque offense with a minute 50 left.
I would expect nothing less. Albuquerque has got to come out firing. They have got to get better on third downs if they want any shot at winning. They've got to get the onside kick, but right here it starts with completions.
Just 1 third down conversion from Albuquerque in this game, 1 of 9. So I think the goal here is to get those conversions on second down at this rate. Jive will go back to throw and gets absolutely stymied by Sean Parent. Again, avoids the sack by at least throwing the ball forward.
Just this Detroit defensive line is just filled with all-star caliber players, and tonight has been no different. They've been phenomenal, wreaking havoc back there for the passing game of the Albuquerque Adams.
First time we've seen tight bunch from Albuquerque, and they're going to sling it off to Kyle Finnemore, who's going to get himself 15 plus and a first down. Timeout called by the Adams.
And there's your first down on second down right there, partner. You called it. They've got to. Hey, they've got to do something to fix the third down efficiency, and right there, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Albuquerque is usually really good on these third down conversions. They're 50-50 on these third down conversions, but tonight has not been their night. Another throw down the middle to Finnemore, finds another 15-plus yard reception, and very quickly, a second timeout is called.
And it looks like their 2-minute offense is cooking tonight. Unfortunately, it might be a little bit too little too late, but Albuquerque's 2-minute drill, phenomenal.
Now they're bringing out 4 receivers. Looks to be a quad set on this first down play, and this might be the formation that they go into the hurry up with. Shifting over Clarence Lee over to the left side. Jive back to throw on a 5-step drop, finds Marion, perfect target. Gets around 12 yards, and there's the third and final timeout called by Albuquerque.
And it's all about getting out of bounds at this point. Got to save that clock any way you can. You cannot get tackled in the field. You've got to get out of bounds.
And now we're probably looking at hurry-up formation. They've got 3 receivers. They've got Jack Wall on the line. This might be the formation that they want to stay on. Jive, 5-step drop, looking down the middle, has a plethora of black and purple jerseys around, and it almost resulted in a game-stealing interception from Jubilee Marsh.
That was just a dangerous pass right there. He had open receivers, but unfortunately tried to just force the pass, and it was almost just ball game over.
And again, going with 3 receivers and Jack Wall on 2nd and 10. 5-step drop, looking down the middle, finds Marion, and that could be an extra couple yards as well. That looks like to be an incidental face mask, and down goes Cyrus Jive on the play.
Oh, and just kicking them while they're down. You just hate to see injuries any time in a game. You especially hate to see the starting quarterback of a team go down. especially near the end of the ball game when they're looking like they've got a pretty good drive going.
And this could effectively end Cyrus Jive's game here tonight. 19 of 29 unofficially for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns, and it's a roughing the passer penalty by Sean Parent. We've seen that happen this season from the ultra-aggressive defense of Detroit, and it comes right to them, and that was very egregious.
Yeah, that was, I mean, shoot, that was just absolutely maniacal right there. Just not even, didn't have the ball for a few seconds and then just absolutely mollywopped him.
Mollywopped him is right, and if you're thinking from an Albuquerque standpoint, that roughing the passer injured Cyrus Jive as well. So now comes Chris Leftwich to finish this game. Throws short, tries to find Fenimore on the crossing route, but it just gets bobbled loose by the Detroit defender, J.W. Hartshorn, that introduces himself into the game for the first time.
And that's the Demolishers standing strong, trying to force this backup quarterback to try to beat him with a touchdown.
Right side is that Albuquerque is at the 1-yard line, finds Fenimore this time on the inside crossing route. 6 on the board for Albuquerque. Now the goal is to get the ball back.
Fenimore's 4th touchdown on the season, and right there, Kyle Fenimore, has 3. That's 4th of the season, but with the backup in there, gets the touchdown. But look at that 3rd down, like we said, 1 of 9 today.
And it's been an absolute struggle from Albuquerque to just get past that 1st down marker once it gets into that number 3 on that sideline chart. And really Detroit is paid the benefit for it. And now we're going to see the onside kicking unit seeing if Albuquerque can get this football back. It'll be kicked right to the Hands team, who will get a couple extra yards, and this will effectively do it. As Detroit has the football, Albuquerque doesn't have any timeouts left.
Yeah, and right there, it was a wise decision not to run it, to the end zone. Just wise just to take it right there where they can pretty much just kneel this clock out, which, minute 13, no timeouts left for Albuquerque. That is just the nail in the coffin.
And for Detroit, they get themselves up to 5-4 this season, and it couldn't come at a better time, because next week they're heading on over to the Dungeon of Drakkar Stadium as they face a divisional rival and current division leaders in DC next week, whereas Albuquerque, this loss now has them on a 2-game homestand against Vancouver and Pittsburgh come week 12 and 13. So it's not an easy road now for Albuquerque now that they're 4-4. So Detroit will get away with this victory, it looks like, 37-24.
Yeah, and the total yards, 477 for the Maulers, 407 for Albuquerque. We got to see a good game. Someone has to win, someone has to lose. Tonight it was the Maulers winning, but we got to see a great game. Two teams that were playing well, and one team better than the other. And to me, this game boiled down to the 3rd downs.
Yeah, and even looking at it, there was a lot of doubts coming from Detroit as this season spanned on, because they had that 3-game losing streak. Then they recovered against Bossier City in a close contest. Could this be possibly the statement game that's needed for the Maulers to get over the hump? Yes, they've got that 5th win, but it looks like in the playoffs, that magic number is going to be 7 to clinch. 0's on the clock, and we are done here in Detroit. 37-24 is your final score. Wade, let's recap a game that had almost 900 yards of offense.
Yeah, no, it started out with fireworks right off the bat with a huge play, 80 yards for Albuquerque right off the bat, and then Detroit came back with a long drive, scored a field goal, then Albuquerque 3 and out. Detroit put 3 on the board, and off we ran. And Detroit was methodical. They had 2 scores in the 2nd, 2 scores in the 4th, and it's just Detroit played next level tonight.
Yeah, and like you said, dominating time possession unofficially in our stats truck, 23 minutes and 36 seconds. That's pretty much on par from what Detroit wanted to do here and that's how they got themselves the 13-point victory here in Detroit. Make the final 37-24 in favor of the Detroit Maulers on behalf of our stats truck consisting of Zach Holdorf and Michaela Foraker, on behalf of my buddy in the stats, or in the booth, sorry, Wade Phillips, and of course on behalf of Cameron Irvine, producer and commissioner extraordinaire. Thank you for joining us here tonight. 37-24 is your final score. I have been Brett Solberg, and I wish you a Badoo.